What's up YouTube? This is Ben and his Delica that we've seen several times on this channel. But we realized we never really went into the intent and the story of it, so here we go.
It's a 1990 Mitsubishi Delica 56T, the diesel variant, so it's not the gas burner.
When did you know you needed one?
I think I just saw a picture one time and I was like, you know, that thing's, I was like, that's really cool. It'd be cool to camp in, I like to camp sometimes. And it's not like massive, it's not a Sprinter, and it's, you know, relatively off-road capable. So I was like, it's a pretty cool, unique vehicle. And that's just kind of where it started. And then I found out that they don't make any power. and there's, you know, a list of things that are known issues that need to be addressed, and luckily there's enough people that have them to where you get to find out about those things.
This was local already, so somebody else imported it?
Yeah.
And then what, you got it on Marketplace or something?
Yeah, I found it on Craigslist actually. That's where
so back in the day. What, so you got it and you said you were asking someone in Oregon if they could fix it?
Oh, nomadic
vans, dude, everywhere, awesome. But
yeah,
we're on the other end of the country.
Yeah, and right off the bat, you know, I wanted to take care of some things like who knows when or if it's ever had the timing belt replaced. So like I wanted to do that and do the water pump while I was in there, and I didn't really have a space to work on it, so I wanted to see, you know, if I could get someone to do it. And people just, like, unless they're a specialty shop, they don't want to do it, and if they do it, then it's expensive usually. So luckily I was able to get that sorted by this
yeah, so
right
some
here.
idiot at the time was just having a shop.
Just opened the shop.
Yeah, but I mean, as you can see from the whole YouTube channel, like the entire purpose of that shop was to do nothing but cool stuff. So right. I mean, it was like that's what I call when the planets aligned. And when I built the Excursion, it was the same way. The guy that built my Excursion engine, we were both in the right place at the right time. I had the money, he was opening his shop. No, we didn't get it right the first time, but we just kept beating it, both of us, the willingness, the time, the space. And my truck got done and we're still working on this one. But I mean, my personal opinion is this fan rips as is.
Yeah. Well, now that it has an intercooler.
Yeah, right, with all the stuff that we've done to it, so we can loop some of that in the B-roll. But what I appreciate about Ben is this sort of like uncompromising OCD that it could be better. Like, it could be better.
Yeah, the list always grows. It's like, okay, it's got the intercooler, but what about a ball bearing turbo? You know what I mean? Like, is that gonna have a little bit less back pressure that lowers the EGT just a little bit more? You know what I mean? So we got a chart over here. On one axis we got power, on the other one we got engine heat. EGTs, poor cooling system. Basically what we got here on this chart is you're pulling a hill, you're going faster and faster, temperatures are climbing. You know, maybe you're not going fast, maybe you're going 30, 40. So this section right here means you pulled over because your van is overheating and you have to let it cool off, and then you're continuing. And what we're trying to do is eliminate this whole section here. We don't want to be doing that, right? I know you're like, well, just go 30 miles an hour. You don't have to do that. No, I want to go faster than that. Like I want to keep up with. I want to come as close as I possibly can to keeping up with traffic. I mean, we're not like terribly far away from it right now. This is a graph that came from NASA. I don't know. This is somewhere important, right? This is as scientific as it gets. Lab coat, safety glasses.
Shit, pick up the beer can.
Yeah, I'll do some camping in it and some forest roads, some general off-roading with friends and stuff like that. Solid performance goal is I want to be able to go, we'll say 3,000 RPM AC full blast, van full of people in overdrive for miles up a 6% grade. I think that's the goal that everybody wishes their Delica could do, and a lot of people spend a lot of money and they don't ever get there, you know.
We're there, by the way.
Yeah,
just not good enough for
just not good enough to go 65, 70 up the hill. Like I want to be able to, like I want there to have been a traffic jam and I have to stop in the middle of the hill and then re-accelerate back to 70 before I, you know, get to the top. Just trying to maximize it in a way that isn't 30 pounds of boost and it blowing up, you know what I mean?
And not willing to stop at all of the pipes lead to where they're supposed to go. Like we redid things, it wasn't good enough. It's really an uncompromising drive to be better. I really like that. So we've already done all of the essentials. We did, so the intercooler we did, that took forever, and now it's a kit available for you guys with the factory configuration as well, so you don't got to go off the deep end like we did. But yeah, then we instrumented it, which was a huge win. The JRP 14-in-1, also a kit on the site specifically for the Delica.
That's pretty big for when we like move forward beyond just the intercooler, because right now this thing is more or less stock, and I think that the timing could it may even be slightly less advanced than factory even. So like there's tons of room to turn this thing up. We haven't tuned anything at all, but now that we have the instruments, like we'll be able to monitor intake air temp, EGT, boost. What else do we have? We got oil pressure, trans temp. It's the main one that I was after in the first place was the air fuel ratio.
Yep.
Yeah. And so we'll be able to dial and find out what does and does not work moving forward with it, you know. So that's cool that we're able to do that for sure.
So next steps, tuning.
Yeah.
We have the instrumentation, so really even understanding the tuning, so we can read the numbers, but like what's hot, what's not, when do these blow.
Yeah, I think this will be a good way to determine like what the capability or the efficiency of like the factory turbo, because if we next go to a different turbo, like we'll have something to compare it to.
So these types of words like turbine efficiency and what's a conservative EGT, when I did the hill at 1250, to me that's super conservative. Like you could run that van indefinitely at that and it wouldn't even care. So like when you start pushing 1400,
yeah, it's back off.
But that's like a 30% power increase to me. So like that's why I say we're already there. So understanding the tuning and coming up with some success criteria, tuning, playing with the fuel before we kind of mess with it, and then once we got that dialed, like we're gonna stop. Like let's not pretend. And so this is the turbo out of this this van here, and wiggle the impeller. She's dialed.
It's got the gyroscopic turbine in there.
So you need to have about 700 pounds of oil pressure to get those bearings to tighten up.
Oh, yeah, probably.
And for the sake of B-roll, let me come in here and show you, like there's clearance for days. So this is where this is the hole that it came out of. I mean, there's no shortage of space to put whatever turbo we want in there. We were talking about flanges and things, so you have the normal, on ours, this 3-bolt flange, and then on the exhaust side it's not the split case with the manifold, which is good because we could just remake this pipe into whatever we want. You know, there's nothing special about that. So we can remake all this with V-bands, and so and then of course on the intercooler side, like that's just clamped fittings, so it doesn't matter clocking and size. That's easy change. So the only flange that matters is this one. And so whatever this is, if you know, internet, let us know, or if we find out, we'll throw it on the screen.
If it's like a standardized.
And so we'll have like a disassembly video of that, because I think it deserves to be baked and powder coated so it can sit on the shelf inside your house.
Like that is just crazy. That's funny.
So that's the worst turbo I've ever seen personally.
Well, I've seen that one video where the guy's like looking at his tailpipe, like his car just blew up and he's like pulled part of the muffler off and the turbine is just like chilling down in the exhaust.
This one's close. I mean, it definitely ate some of the fins. It's self-clearanced in the front. We'll get better B-roll of that. Like it definitely had some self-clearancing capabilities. Let's pull up some chairs here because it's about to get crazy. For the people that want to stick around, we'll start talking charts and efficiencies and tuning and hang on. So in all seriousness, I mean, it's gonna happen. Not because we know what we're doing, but because we have the stupidity just to keep trying. You know, we're not super experts, but it's bolts and parts and results. And if you don't like the result, you bolt on a different part. I guess one of the goals of everybody's build is try and come up with clear definitions for what your success model is, and then use something like the instrumentation to measure against your goals.
People are, you know, turning up the boost and making more power. What's the efficiency like? So that's another, like, I want to try going like if I'm consistently wanting to run, say, 16 to 18 pounds, is that out of the efficiency of the compressor on the factory one? That's what I read. That's what people are saying.
Well, what is turbine efficiency? What even is that?
I guess it has to do with like how well the geometry of the turbine can move the air while it remains cooler, like before the air begins to heat up. Like, I don't know what the exact metric of efficiency is that they're measuring, but it's
stoichiometric flow and nuclear power plant shit.
Yeah, probably.
Get out the lab coat. I would assume, you know, like having taken all those classes, you're talking entropy and all this other shit that comes out of charts, like, but basic readable metrics would be exhaust back pressure, so we need to add that and get it into the JRP. So that's one of the things we're going to drill the manifold and use the coil loop of copper to get a pressure sensor on that. And then so we'll have, hopefully in the very near future, an exhaust with a cutout. So there'll be zero pressure at the back of the wheel. And then we'll be able to measure exhaust back pressure in the exhaust manifold. And then we'll also, obviously we have the boost gauge at the manifold, the intake manifold, but we should have another one right after the turbo. And so we'll have intercooler pressure drop. We'll have the essentially 4 pressures on each side of the turbo. We'll have EGTs for temp. And from there, I would assume that's everything we need to like calculate some official efficiency metric.
Yep.
So shy of that, it's how many turbos are we going to bolt on to make any intelligent results or whatever, like comparison. I guess the goal then from there would be, how do you tie that back to how many chicks can you pack in this thing and how fast can you make it up the hill? You know what I mean? Before the thing's on a tow truck.
And then since you didn't do the right stuff to actually fix the problem, this is you going back to the shop again.
So we're going to do our best to mix science and data with just getting it done and having fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with the turbo, it's like, you know what? You know, so if we say we're able to do it on a day that's a similar temperature, you know, we can't control all the variables, but we can try to get close. And which summer's around the corner, so that temperature will just be hot. You know, it'll be 100 degrees probably plus. And it'll be, you know what, we'll be able to look at the AFR and the boost at a certain speed and see like what is the exact EGT at that, and then like how does it compare to the previous turbo. Like, is back pressure affecting that EGT? If we lower the back pressure, we're going to drop the EGTs. Does this design of turbo even lower back pressure? You know, so like those will be questions we'll hopefully be able to answer
from science class.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of extracting power out of the exhaust, yeah, I'm sure back pressure is the most sensible thing, but you actually want to hit that wheel with as much heat and velocity as possible.
Right.
And then those two things, air density, velocity, and temperature drop across that wheel, because you're converting that into basically power.
I guess the idea is if you can hit the same amount of boost with less pressure on the turbine wheel, then theoretically that should lower.
Right. If you
or use the same amount of back pressure or force at the turbine wheel to equate to a higher boost.
Well, we got a lot to play with for sure. A lot to fab, so it'll take a couple minutes, but here's the intercooler that we use. It's heavy. It's thick. It's like quarter wall end tanks. What is the efficiency of this and how does that come in? So that's a whole nother angle. To answer specifically some of the questions of does this work? Yeah, it's amazing how much it works. And even though we have, where we mount it, you have full airflow, just this amount of material coming through here with no airflow buys you time, because it takes a long time to heat all of this up. So, of course it works. The question is how much?
Right.
How much does it work? Like, how long could you stay in it? Like, how, obviously the faster you go, the more airflow you're gonna have, so that's gonna factor in everything. The cooler your charge air will be. So, lots of numbers. What I personally want from everybody is between the time that we launch this video to the time that we go to an actual tuning shop and ask them what they're doing and what their parameters are and how they're, you know, on a modern truck impacting injection timing and pulse width and all of that kind of stuff, VGT, all, you know, between you seeing this and us posting that, weigh in on the comments of how you think that we should tune it and what
Right.
our metrics should be and what they even mean. You can say, oh, turbine efficiency. Like, yeah, intuitively you know what that means, but
Right.
what does it mean? So that's what I want. All right, everyone. If you're one of the 12% of the people that are still watching this, thank you. Head to the site, pick up yourself an intercooler and JRP 14-in-1 kit specifically for the factory Delica builds. And stay tuned for the upcoming exhaust. Doing this for you guys. If you want us to keep some of this stuff in stock, like that direct replacement turbo, that'll link to our exhaust and go down from there, let us know. There was a lot of rambling in this video. It's kind of just stuff that needs to be said, so we'll follow up with more details, more specifics, answers to those questions in the future videos. Until then, we'll see you on the next one.